On today's episode of the Road to 1 Million podcast, I have on Tony, owner of Ralda's Details in Richmond, Virginia. Tony has been detailing since he was 10 years old and has built up his business to 387 five-star reviews. He offers everything from window tint to paint corrections, PPF, ceramic coatings, and just standard detailing. What's really interesting about Tony is he has a team that welds and assembles mobile detailing vans, and he actually sells that. So you guys can go check out his website, and I'll put that in the show notes to get more information on that. But it sounded like it just started out as a hobby, something that he was posting online for his own setup. And since then, he's had a ton of people reach out to him. And so he's actually kind of started a business out of building these mobile detailing vans. Tony also does training for paint corrections, ceramic coatings, and just general details. So he's got a lot of experience when it comes to training other people. He has a phenomenal Instagram and Facebook page, so go check out those. His YouTube's also really great, and just overall fantastic customer service. I think that the reviews speak for that. And we talk about how Tony has gone about introducing new services without being extremely comfortable, which I think is something that all of us as detailers struggle with. Is like, when do I start introducing this to my clientele, especially if I'm not the best and I'm not super comfortable with that? How do I go about doing that, knowing that I'm going to make mistakes and still maintaining that 5-star rating? And Tony has done that, and he talks about all of that in this week's episode. So I think that there's a ton of really good information in this podcast, and I hope you guys find some value in it. Don't forget, you can use the timestamps in the description to skip ahead. And without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, today I've
Right.
got on Tony from Ralda's Detailing in Richmond, Virginia. Tony, thanks again for hopping on the podcast with me today.
Sure, man. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
So we were just talking before we started recording that you've been
Mhm.
detailing since you were 10 years old.
Yeah, like I mentioned to you, I started when I was 10 years old in my country, Guatemala. We, I mean, I have the need of, make some money. I was going to school, but at the same time, I need to make some money, because we need it in my country. And I did told my brother, to like if he can ask to a mechanical shop for a job, for me. And he did. So then I got the job, and I was able to work like afternoons. After getting off of school, I was going to the job, and that was I remember it was like a mechanical shop, but on that mechanical shop, it was like a body shop, and as well like a welding shop. Like it was like three in one. So I started learning, different things there, and but one of them it was like as well detailing. How I started learning detailing was because my brother he also started working on that shop, and he was giving me right, to that job. And but I was a little OCD, and I was always cleaning his car, until he decided to do the next move.
Hmm. And what was
Yeah.
that?
So the next move, since he saw that I was a little OCD cleaning up his car, and I have like, I don't know, I was always, cleaning up the car. Even when I was going inside of the car, I was always, cleaning up my shoes in order to not mess up the car and stuff like that. And so, anyways, he decided to, instead us to be working for somebody else, he decided to open up like a car wash. It was a detail shop. We was detailing, but we didn't know. We didn't even know the word detailing, in those days. But we was already cleaning up like the cars, from the inside. We used to pull out the seats, the carpet, and everything. We was even scrubbing the metals of the like underneath of the carpet in order to get to those areas. And we was charging super low. But once again, we didn't know that we was detailing on those days. We just
Yeah.
call it car wash, but we actually was detailing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny to see how, like, when you look back at stuff like that, how far that we've come. And
Yeah.
now I see like your prices start at around $200 for your detailing. Um,
Yeah. Here in Virginia, yes, we like the starting price is 199 for what we call the refresh detail. that is like a vehicle, that is fairly new and it start kind of getting a little messy, but doesn't have like deep stains and stuff like that. So we can just offer like a refresh detail, and that is going to include even like a spray wax. Nothing super, deep, but um, is a good service, for somebody that has a car that is not too dirty.
How long does that usually take?
Normally takes, I wanna say, like 2 hours max. We
Okay.
try we try to keep our services like as a minimum of $100 per hour
Okay.
in order to survive.
Yeah, yeah. And is that two guys on one job?
Normally is one guy on a job. Sometimes when it's a little slow, then I send two guys. Because we always have work to do here at the shop. If it's not like, for instance, like the cleaning on the shop to make it look presentable, we are also sometimes or always have like mobile detailing units to build.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so you guys not only offer detailing, but you build mobile units and you also do training. So
That's
how do you
right.
split up your time? I mean, does the training and the mobile unit? I know you have like a 5-man crew. You said for welding the vans. So how do you split up your time each week?
With the welding department is, for instance, he is my partner pretty much. He's the one that is in charge of doing all the configurations. Like I kind of talk to my client and I ask them if it's something custom. If it's something custom, we kind of try to pick my customer's mind in order to build whatever they want. And they are in charge of that. That's not separate. It's a different shop. Like it's like 10 minutes away from my location, so they kind of do that. Now when it comes to the on this shop, what we normally do, like for instance, let's say that I have to do a ceramic coating, is either I do it myself or somebody else, or like if somebody wants a training, because the majority of the trainings that I do is one-on-one trainings. um, because I like to give them all the information that I can, like how to, from, where they need to advertise, and how to kind of sell as well, because it's not just about how to do the jobs, it's about how you're going to treat your customers and how you're going to be able to sell, the services as well.
Yeah. How much of your time is spent training people?
When it's a one-on-one training, not, they can decide if they want to do like one day or 2 days for that training, and they can learn from interior details, exterior details, paint correction, ceramic coatings, which is the most popular services that people wants to learn nowadays. So that's kind of what I kind of teach them, so along with the like how to do things, I am at the same time explaining them, how to sell to the customer. We always do like test spots on the vehicle, and then I tell them, okay, what do your client needs, what do your client wants, and in order to have realistic expectations, with your client. Because when, for instance, let's say for instance a client come to me, I always like to tell them, hey, would you like me to do like a test spot, so you're going to see exactly what you're going to get for what you're going to be paying us. So, for instance, if they say, oh, I think my car only needs a one step, and I say, okay, let's do a one step on this section. Let's try and see what it does. So, even if we still got some scratches around, you point it out to them and tell them, hey, this is what you're going to get with a one step. We still got some scratches, but I don't know if that is what you want. If they say, oh, yeah, definitely, I understand it's not going to be perfect, blah, 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 with that, you already covered your back, So you don't have to, like, because since detailers, we tends to be OCD. So we want to go farther, all the time. But with that, like, if you already talk to them, then you're gonna be relaxed. You don't have to. You know that you don't have to go and do. If they are paying you for a one step, you're not gonna try to do a two step because you already know what expectations they have. So I try to
Yeah.
communicate all that stuff, to the people that come here, and do the trainings with me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not always about what you want. It's about what the client wants, and that's the hard part about like scaling your business.
Yeah. Hmm.
Now, how many are you doing a training like every week? Or are you doing it like once a month?
Normally, like for instance, if it's either I'm doing a ceramic coating myself or I can do a training. So like for instance, I can do a ceramic coating myself, like a one-step correction with the ceramic coating in one day. But if somebody calls me and say, hey Tony, I would like to get a training, when we can schedule this, so then I just pick a day, out of my week,
Hmm,
and say, okay, let's do it Friday, and they come to me, and then we do the training. So once again, it's either I'm doing a training to help somebody, or I am doing a ceramic coating, on
sure.
that day. Hmm.
Do you feel like people are calling you? Like, are you usually training one person every week, or how often are people calling you for training?
I try to do max. Like I've done 3 trainings in one week, but because like when you do trainings, it's like you can stop talking. So sometimes like I get, like you got to be drinking a lot of water because you got to keep talking, talking, talking. So, but the like I remember I did a training the other day. It was a 3 days straight, and that was not the greatest experience, because you don't stop talking, so you kind of get sick at the end,
Yeah,
of, of the training. Yeah, so I prefer to do, for instance, if I'm gonna do 3 trainings, one-on-one trainings, it can be Monday, maybe Wednesday, and then another one Friday, so that way I have a day in between, to kind of rest or
yeah.
something like that. Hmm.
So, are you getting most of these people from your Instagram?
Instagram, YouTube, Facebook as well. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And are you finding most of these guys, are they have an established, do they have an established company already and they're just trying to look into like go more full time?
Some of them, they already have an established business, but sometimes they want to do more than the regular services, for instance, and they want to do paint correction. And what I notice is people that already been doing it, when they come to the training, they kind of have a different perspective after the training, and they go like, oh man, I was kind of wasting time on this, or I was doing this wrong, and things like that, so I feel like even if they got experience, like I feel good, because I'm able to help them out, and kind of move their business to a different way,
Yeah. We're actually getting into wanting to get into window tint
Mhm,
and we don't have any experience with it. And
mhm,
I almost wonder if it makes sense to just get some hands on experience to start before
mhm.
we do any kind of official training,
Yeah,
just to become familiar at least with like the basics,
yeah,
And you can learn so much from YouTube nowadays. Um,
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, like when it comes to window tint, it's funny because people ask me if I do window tint as well. I know how to install it and everything, but I like it's like what before, like I did already like 3 trainings of window tint, but I tell people, hey, I'm not a trainer for window tint because it's different to install it than tell you how to do it, you know but they go like, and they say, Tony, but I trust you, and if you already are installing window film, I feel like you're gonna give me good information, so I would like to, even that you're not gonna be maybe the best trainer, I still want to do it with you because they kind of feel like they trust me, like, so I feel good about that, and so far when it comes to the window film, I done 3 trainings so far, so, but I explain them, I tell them, hey, I am not that great, like, but I'm in business,
yeah,
and I try to do my best, because window film, something that I learned, is that window film is not perfect, like anything else, you sometimes you're gonna get like a little bubble here and there, stuff like that. But that's again, we have to show to our clients, and they gotta make sure that we gotta make sure that they're gonna have realistic expectations. So, in one thing that I do is I have my own vehicle that is already tint, and my truck has imperfections. So I show them, hey, this is what your truck should look like, or your vehicle is going to look like. And then I point it out. Do you see this? Do you see that? Okay, those are like little imperfections that probably your vehicle is going to get as well. you know.
Hmm.
So by showing them those little things, now they will be like, oh, okay. I mean, I know. Thanks for showing me, and be, honest.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to tell my client, oh yeah, this is gonna be perfect. This is gonna be like the best job ever. Like, no, it's not like that. Like, if you want to be in business, you gotta be, I want to say, honest with your clients.
Yeah. Yeah. So when did you get into window tint?
I get into the window tint, I want to say like 2 years ago.
Okay. And when did you get into paint protection film?
Paint protection is about the same time. I went to a training to Chicago with the guys from Car Supplies Warehouse.
Yeah.
Yeah, so optical film. When they kind of launched the optical film, they was looking for people to help them out, to start, or make the first big order. So I kind of make my order in advance, in order to help them out, in order to get the film and everything, the first big order, because I like they say, it was a big amount of money, in order to make the first big order. So that's exactly what we did, and then we get a. By the way, with them, it's amazing because it's a free training. You buy the product from them, and they're gonna make sure that you are installing the film properly. So all you gotta do is make some time and come to them, uh, be on their schedule, and you're gonna be able to get the training, from them.
So did you have any experience with PPF before you went to their training?
No, not at all.
And did you feel like after their training, like you were pretty proficient? Like, were you able to start installing on customers' vehicles pretty quickly?
You get all the basics. After the first training, you get all the basics, but you need to practice and practice and practice a lot. You gotta, for instance, you can kind of practice on your family members, vehicles, like the meters. Meters is one of the harder parts, and the bumpers to do it. So, like I said, we still are not great at it, but we feel confidence on what we can do. And like I'll tell all my clients, if they don't like what we do, it's 100% free.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty cool. And I think things like that, it's a little intimidating for some people because it's like, oh, I'm going to be out all this cost and material.
Yeah.
But there's no better feeling, especially if you're in it for the long term, than knowing that if they're not happy with it, that you just won't charge them, and then they'll be happy with that. So
Yeah, like, I mean, even if they have to, for instance, if they want to remove it later, if they are not happy, they can remove it. They didn't pay anything, um, and I mean, it's not like that's exactly what we want, but that's the
yeah,
the guarantee that I like to offer to my clients. And so far, since I've been in business, it's only two times that that is something that happens to me. The first one was because I don't know, but it was something wrong with the person, I would say, and they heard that it was like free. If they don't like it, they pretend that they didn't like it. And I am the type of guy that I don't like to go back and forth with people, so I
yeah,
just tell them, like, hey, if you're not happy, this is what we do. You want to come and stop by, and get a check, come and stop by, get it, So that's exactly what I did. And as well, on a PPF job as well, that happens to me, like, it was a little bit of like some areas, it was my fault, like, it was a little bit of a stretch marks and some debris underneath, because, and that's, you're gonna get that, but once again, I decide to leave it and see their reaction. And they tell me, oh, you know what, we are not happy because there is debris on this section here, and there is some stretch marks on this area. So, and I say, okay, no worries, you don't have to pay me, don't worry, that's it,
yeah,
and they was happy.
yeah. Well, obviously, you're probably a little biased being a trainer, but do you think that it's worth it, especially when it comes to PPF and like window tint, to do the training with the professional up front? Or do you think, with as much access to information on the internet as we have, that it might be worth starting there and kind of getting some reps in and then maybe going to training?
um yeah, you like, I would suggest to start watching videos. And it's like, if you can, maybe order some film, and start practicing, just to be hands on a little bit, and then after you can go to a training, where you're gonna. But if you don't want to spend, let's say, money on film, or because you're gonna be spending a lot of money on film, and maybe you're just gonna be wasting time. I would say probably instead they buy the film and this is what I like about these guys. It's not like they are paying me or anything to say this, but that's what I like about these guys. You buy the film from them, and they're gonna give you training, so it's a win-win.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you used any other PPF besides
I I
optical?
have I have just to try different films, uh, but I'm pretty comfortable with that one. I would say they have two versions. I would say the second version it will be the best bet.
What's the second version?
They call it is optical. They have optical. Man, I forgot the name. I'm sorry about that. Defender, something like that, and they have optical. It's something else, but this is the one that is the opposite of Defender or something like that. But yeah.
Why
I
do you
can't
like it
remember
better?
the. Hmm?
Why do you like that one better?
It sticks a lot better.
Hmm.
It sticks better. Yeah. When you are trying to stick it, on some areas, the adhesive is a little stronger, so that helps to stick it on some areas that you need to put some where you need it to stick.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. What company of window tint do you use?
It's called Max Pro.
Okay. Yeah,
Max
that's
Pro.
right. I saw that on your website. And have you
Mhm.
used any other tint brands?
No, I haven't. Looking to try different ones. I just bought some different films that I'm gonna be trying out. But so far, this is what we've been using, and we feel comfortable with that. So, but once again, we haven't tried something else, so we still got to do that and see if we feel more comfortable with other brands.
Yeah. Well, and I think that the customers are gonna not they're not gonna notice much of a difference between the different brands, and I think
No,
the
it's
same is
more.
true.
I think it's more like like if you feel comfortable by it when you are installing the film, because the film is. I mean, I think is it's gonna be good. So the only thing is gonna be like if it's gonna be regular window film or if it's gonna be ceramic window film. Um, that's gonna be the only difference. If the client wants to pay more for ceramic window film, which is gonna help to reject the heat that is going into the vehicle, then that's gonna be the difference.
Yeah. So you got into PPF and window tint about 2 years ago, and it was about the same around the same time. How was that introducing to your current clientele?
It's been like a very slow. We just put it on our website, and some people they go to our website, they notice that we try to offer everything to in order to be like a one-stop shop, and some people been buying, but I'm not pushing hard, to sell this. I'm not doing any ads or anything like that to maybe we feel a lot more comfortable, because the other thing that we do or we have is another PPF installer that he come whenever we get a job. He come to us and he also do it. We just work by percentage. He's a really good PPF installer. He used to work for uh, it was another company that used to do all the Porsche vehicles from the dealership. He was doing those vehicles, so he's really good at it.
And you just pay him a commission?
Commission, yeah, yeah, like a percentage of the job, yeah.
Okay.
hmm
And so is there a reason why you're not doing those yourself?
Sometimes it's because you don't have the time. Sometimes because as a business owner, sometimes you are working on some other things in order to get the clients as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
So you said you're not running any ads at all right now?
Not right now. It's more like organic. Everything. Honestly, like social media helps a lot. YouTube, especially, because I've been posting some videos of the jobs that we do, and we just put them on YouTube, and that's connected with my website. plus the reviews that we get. We have like 387 or 8, something like that, 5-star reviews only. So, you know, that creates a lot of trust. And maybe some other people, like the ones are running ads, like I want to get the clients that they are looking a little bit more in depth, so that way, they can, it's like, I feel like if they look a little bit more, it's because they don't want to give their vehicle to just like somebody, that maybe doesn't have like a good reputation. Our reputation is good, I would say. So, and that's what I want. I want those clients, that they feel comfortable by leaving their vehicles with us.
Yeah. Yeah, you have almost 16,000 followers on YouTube, I see. So you feel like that does help quite a bit.
That helps a lot. Yeah.
Hmm.
And be transparent. When you do a video, be transparent, like I'm trying to be transparent right here. I'm saying, yeah, there is a job that we did and we didn't get paid because we did a bad job. Simple as that. you know.
Yeah.
But
Well,
we
that's
are always here to push harder and be better,
yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have people that tell you like, "Oh, I found you from your YouTube videos"?
Yeah, by the way, today I just did a video how powerful is the social media, because um the guy, he came with his car and he took it to a different place, and they was trying to do like a paint correction, but it seems like they just use a rotary and just to remove some scratches, but they leave a bunch of holograms on the area. So he was like, "Oh, like what I'm gonna do now?" Because when he saw his vehicle, it was looking bad. So he told me, "Hey." Then he started looking for, So then he saw my reviews. He went to my YouTube channel and everything. So he was like, "Okay, here is where I need to go." So he came. I did a test spot for him and everything. He was pretty happy with the results, and then he ended up buying a ceramic coating as well. So, and he's gonna drop off his vehicle next week, and we're gonna take care of the vehicle for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over the years, do you find have you found Google to be uh, like Google and Instagram to be your main ways of getting clients?
Google, yeah. Google is the main one because when people go to Google, they already know what they are looking for. Like if somebody is looking in Facebook, they are just looking. If you see like an ad, it's not like you are ready to purchase that. You just maybe it's gonna be catchy, but then you're gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna save this for later. Maybe I can do it on my car." But they are just looking for other things, to have fun or whatever. But if they go to Google, they already know what they are looking for.
Yeah. Now it's interesting because you're obviously targeting both your detailing clientele and you're also trying to target other detailers with offering training or like your mobile vans, right?
It's
Um,
funny because I'm not trying to target. It's just I upload what I'm doing, and
yeah,
people goes like, and they say, "Hey Tony, I noticed you do trainings." Like, I mean, yes, if you want me to do the training for you, I can do it. But it's not like I'm running ads. I'm not doing any of those things in order to get those jobs.
sure.
When it comes to the mobile detailing units, I start by just uploading a video to help somebody out there, on the YouTube, you know, and so they can see exactly what I did
Hmm.
in my van, and then
Hmm.
they can copy that all the way if they want.
Hmm.
But then instead, I start receiving comments, and people were saying, "Hey, Tony, can you show me how you did this, how you did that?" And then I was replying with another video. "Oh yes, this is how I did the plumbing, so you can copy this as well." And then I show how to set up your van with remote controls and everything.
Hmm.
Actually, that was like, it was nothing out there, like that. And people was impressed, how the to set up everything with remote controls, your vacuum, your pressure washer, and as well your air compressor. And that was a video, that where everybody start copying, all that stuff. Nowadays, like, I think like 70-80% of the vans, of the mobile detailing vans, they have their setup with the remote controls and things like that. But then I start noticing people start asking me, "Hey Tony, can you build my mobile detailing setup?" And I was like, "I don't know how to charge for something like this." And there was, I just want to be efficient. I want to do something. I was saying, okay, I was doing electrical work on those days. And I just tell them, hey, okay, so let's do this. Come over. I'm gonna build an efficient mobile detailing setup for you. Maybe it's not gonna look the best, but we're gonna do it in about 2 to 3 days. So, and that's where I start building what I call the Home Depot setup, because the guy come here, with his van, with some of his equipment, and then we go together to Home Depot. We buy everything that we think that we're gonna need, and then we start building it. And that was mainly to help them out. But then I start kind of get when I came to Virginia. That's when I was in South Carolina. When I came to Virginia, I have a friend, Phil Miranda. He connect me with Jason and Eric from. On those days he was working for G Technic. So I built the G Technic mobile detailing setup for them, and that was something else that helped me out, to be out there, showing how to build the mobile detailing units. And then now since I noticed that it's good, like I start, you know, we are building the mobile detailing units, but it's not like we are advertising or anything like that, because I want the people to see the value on the units. Maybe at some point I'm gonna end up doing that, because I just have it on my website, because people ask, and if they need the information, it's right there.
Hmm. Yeah,
Mhm.
how many mobile units are you guys building like a month right now?
Like right now it's a little slow. We normally do like 2 to 3 a month. But January and February is the busy season for us to build mobile detailing units. Well,
Wow.
sometimes we are working like 8 mobile detailing setups at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's surprising to me that January and February are the busy ones because
Because cold weather, people want to get ready, for the busy season. So they want to have their mobile detailing set up for April, March. Those they want to have their mobile ready, for those days in order to start, either to start, or some people. I get a lot of clients where they already have a big shop, and they still getting like a lot of maintenance clients to their shop. But when somebody has a big shop, they are paying a big amount of money, for rent. So they don't want those maintenance clients anymore in the shop, because they prefer to use that space with a higher ticket job, instead a maintenance. So what they do is they order like 2 mobile units, 3 mobile units. I built those units for them, and they hire technicians, and they just send those technicians around in order to do all the maintenance after
hmm,
they do PPF or ceramic coatings on the vehicles.
yeah, that's interesting. We've had that same idea, but where we've always gotten stuck is with offering maintenance. Obviously, you're charging usually a cheaper price, um, but doing it mobily, it oftentimes, and maybe it's because we don't have a mobile unit, but
Mhm.
it's oftentimes been a lot more difficult, just to be efficient. And so if you're charging less and you're less efficient, then it doesn't make sense. And so that's why we hate doing maintenance jobs.
Yeah, yeah, but there's companies doing maintenance like subscription jobs, monthly for 199. I mean, and it's like maybe like an hour and a half of job, and some clients, wealthy people, they have 3 4 vehicles on the same spot. So if you can get to that area and do maybe 2 3 vehicles that you done in the past with ceramic coating, the ceramic coating makes the vehicle like easier to detail or wash, so they can do a good profit, but just by going to one location. If they go, let's say, one location in the morning and another one location in the afternoon, doing 2 3 vehicles on each location, that's a good profit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the key is like getting multiple vehicles.
And the location, correct? Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
And just being efficient like that and try not to, another thing is like cancellations with weather or things like that, like making sure
yeah.
you're,
That's the only thing you need to kind of manage all those things. Like on every job that we do is like we always say to the client, weather permitting, we're gonna be there on this day. If not, we're gonna call you the previous day in order to reschedule or whatever. Yeah, but it still is a good good way, you know.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I know you mentioned that some people come to you with like custom requests for mobile units.
Yeah, yeah. Some people they want something different, you know, because I have the setups that they are the standard ones, you know, that we built. Now we are coming up with another one that is called bolted, bolted frame. Because some people they just want the frame, they want the structure. So what we do is we send a frame on a small box in order to make it cheaper, you know, when it comes to the shipping as well. So we can send that box and they can put it together themselves, you know,
Hmm.
because some people are pretty handy, you know, they know how to install the rails, how to do the plumbing, how to do all those things, even the electrical work. So, and they just want the frame, so we have that option as well. But the ones that want something custom, they come over here, they kind of tell us, hey, I would like to have this instead of have this. I want the frame to be this way. I want like a bigger generator slide out because we're going to be installing like a steamer or things like that, you know. So we do it that way as well. Like when somebody wants something like that, yeah.
Okay. Do you know how much roughly a standard detailing van setup costs?
We have some like the one when somebody said, for instance, they bring us a uh, like a Ford Transit Connect, and they want a turnkey setup with the frame, the equipment, labor, and everything around $18,000.
Okay.
Mhm. But we have as well, like if somebody wants just the starting point, you know, which is the frame, the bolt-on frame, and they're gonna put it together. The bolt-on frame as of right now is 3,600 as of right now.
Okay. Gotcha.
Mhm.
So the main difference in those two prices is just going to be your install, like the labor to get everything set
Install
up.
labor, let's say a Krensler pressure washer, the generator, like the water tank, all that type of stuff. You know,
Gotcha.
that kind of start adding up. The electrical work, the plumbing, reels, cox reels, all those things. If they want to paint it, if they don't want to paint it, they want diamond plated doors, they want bottle holders, all that stuff. You know.
Yeah. Do you guys offer wraps?
Not as of right now. We are planning to get into it as well, but that's going to be in the future. Because
Gotcha.
the reason why we want to offer wraps is because we have all these mobile units coming to us, and they want to, you know, they ask us, you know, like, hey, I would like to get it done as well. Like I want my wrap, I want my logo on the bang and things like that. So we are thinking about it, you know.
Hmm. Yeah.
hmm
So what percentage of your personal business's jobs are mobile versus shop?
I want to say mobile and shop. I want to say like 50%.
Okay.
Yeah,
So do you have two vans or just one?
three.
Three. Okay.
We got three bank. I mean, it's two that are in the role all the time. I have another one that is more for show, you know, that I use when I have to do a mobile. I use it in I'm building that one in order to go to like Cars and Coffee like showcase, you know, the unit and do maybe free washes on who knows like a Porsche meeting or stuff like that. You know, that's kind of what I want. I want to get
Hmm.
into that.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, do you have those vans all wrapped?
No, we are wrapping them as of like as of right now. We are talking, you know, about doing that. We already got everything, but we haven't done any of that stuff. The one that I had before, it was the only one that was wrapped, but that was the one, the vendor with the one that I start. So somebody contact me and they want to buy the van from me. To somebody from the Virgin Islands. He contacted me and he wants it, so I end up selling that van to them because it was already a lot of miles, but it was in really good shape. But it was a van that I used to call my baby because I don't want nobody to touch that van because it has a lot of memories, and things like that. So I was ready to buy another one, and somebody needed, and I was like, okay, why not? Let's do it. I'm gonna end up selling my van, and that was the one that was wrapped. But I have three now that I have to wrap still.
Well, I'll be curious to hear when you get those wrapped, what kind of difference that makes.
Yeah, like I think well, and the previous one, to be honest, I didn't s- I didn't find there was a lot of difference because the majority of the clients that find us is through the internet. But I got few clients, that they kind of say, "Oh, I saw you driving, around, and I was calling you because I want my car detail." But maybe you look. I want to say the difference will be where you look a lot more professional. That's
100%.
what I would say that is going to be the difference. Yeah, you look a lot more professional than just having a white van, or something like that.
Yep. Yeah, we've never had a van, and our company is Belk Mobile Detailing, and now 70% of our work's probably at our shop.
Hmm.
Um, but and I mean, our prices are premium. We're charging $400 for full detail still.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but I agree. I think that it would make a tremendous difference in the image.
Oh
I
yeah.
think we've always we viewed it as we've always thought like, is this something we really want to do long term, or do we really want to go more towards the shop? And
Yeah.
so you don't want to dump $50,000 into a setup in a van um, if you're not going to do it long term, right?
Correct. Yeah. Definitely, you don't want to do that. Like, if since you have a shop, I don't know how big is your shop. Is it like how
It's
many
two
square?
bays.
Two bays.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If at some point you start noticing that you have those two bays full with, let's say, paint corrections and ceramic coatings, and you are getting those clients, where they want like the regular services, is not it's going to be best just to bring those higher ticket jobs to the shop, and then you will say, okay, I think let's hire a somebody, to do the jobs here at the shop at first, and then I can send this guy mobile.
Hmm.
And that is when it's going to start making sense for you, because you're going to have somebody out there doing those mobile jobs, and it's an income, and it's not going to be at the shop, so
Yeah.
it's good.
I hear you on that. Yeah. Makes sense just because your overhead is going to be a lot less.
Exactly, yeah. Because you really don't want to have a car sitting on your shop for $400 versus a $1,200, a
Yeah.
day. So it's best to have the $1,200 in the shop where you are paying rent than having a $400, or let's say two $400, because maybe that $400 job is going to take you 4 hours, but you can do another one in the afternoon. It's another $400. That's $800. But then you can have a one step correction with the ceramic coating and the same time, and you're still gonna make $400 additional.
Right.
So you're making more just with one car than having two cars in the shop.
Yeah. Yep.
Hmm.
Um, so going back to window tinting, um, what ways have you found it most effective to introduce that? I mean, obviously you posted it on your website, so I'm sure some people have just seen that and asked about it.
Hmm.
But what other ways have you been introducing and talking to people, your clientele, about window tint?
With the window tint, it's just with the existing clients, they come to me and they say, "Hey, do you guys do window tint?" And then we say, "Yes, we do window tint as well." So then they decide to do the vehicle. In social media, when we are doing an installation, we just do like a video, a reel or something like that, and then we post it, and then people goes like, "Hey, I find you guys in Instagram, so I would like to do my car with window tint." So, and that's how we do it.
Hmm.
And obviously, in Google, you just set the keyword, window tint, Richmond, Virginia, and then we're gonna appear.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, I noticed that you like on your Google name, it's your company, and then you have dash ceramic coating, paint protection film, window tint, and mobile detailing. Um, which I've seen a few companies in my local area that do the same thing. Like rather than it being like on the back end, like they actually put it in their name.
Yeah, actually, that is something that the guy was doing my SEO. He did that, but we are finding out that we are not supposed to do that. So that's something that we have to fix.
Really?
Yeah, that's what somebody told me. Like, but I have to do more research on that. So we're gonna have to see if it's something that we are allowed to do it. We keep it. If not, we need to replace that. But that's something that a change that somebody did. Like I want to say like 3 weeks ago. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay,
Mhm.
so that's recent.
Yeah, it's recent. So it used to be just Ralda Details LLC. That's it, and then all the keywords was on the like after that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, but like that's something that I need to do more research about it. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure that's a good question for Chat GPT that we could probably ask.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's interesting though, because I'm sure that is helpful for Google's algorithm. But of course, if it's going to be, if it's a red flag and you could risk getting your account
Definitely.
flagged, it's
Hmm.
not worth it.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that we're gonna have to switch that out. Yeah.
Okay. How many tint jobs are you guys doing a month?
Uh, Not so many. Maybe 4 to 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are those like full jobs or just like getting the front two windows to match?
Some people they want just the two front windows and maybe the windshield, and some other people they want the full. Yeah.
Mm,
But front windshields, a lot of people want the front windshields and the two front windows. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I feel like maybe you could speak to this because you have been doing this for 2 years. But I feel like when you introduce a new service, we saw this with ceramic coatings. At first, it's really slow, and
Yeah.
then it starts to pick up a little bit, and then all of a sudden, it picks up a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's something that, like I said, with the PPF and window tinting, we are not doing as much until we feel a lot more comfortable. Because I always try to bring my guy, the one that does PPF, and we always are helping him, um, in order to learn more and more. But you got to be hands on when it comes to PPF. We feel a lot more comfortable with the window film, but the PPF, we need to be more hands-on and practice a lot more and stuff like that. Yeah,
Mm,
but yeah, like I mean, yeah, you start getting calls and everything, but I always like to talk to especially after that happens to me. I want to make sure that I have great communication with my client, so we're gonna prevent from that happening again.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's funny when we look back at when we started doing ceramic coatings and paint corrections, and we were just getting caught up on the smallest things. Like we were like not working our polishing well enough, or we were just using uneven pressure on the pad. And it seemed like simple fixes in hindsight, but in the moment, they seemed like such big deal.
yeah. And this is another thing, like let's go back to the PPF a little bit. But it's funny because um sometimes if we go to a training and then we notice like something, on the film that it looks weird. Since we are detailers, we are looking always, to the best that we can, um and but on the training they even tell you it's called paint protection film, not paint perfection film. So they leave also some imperfections on the film, and when we are doing it here, we feel like it have to be like perfect. So we are kind of OCD with that, um but like it's funny, because it's not like we stress a lot, when it comes to when it's a new job, when it's something that you don't know how to do well, and you try to do it the best that you can. But when you go to the training, you find out that, oh, I was doing it right. I was doing it okay. Because they tell you like, hey, what they preach a lot or what they say a lot is that you need to let your client know that it's not going to be perfect at all. It's
Mm.
gonna be to protect the paint, the paint of your vehicle, but it's gonna be imperfection as well, after you finish with the job. So
Yeah.
yeah, I learned that, but I always want to push for the best that I can. But unfortunately, like I said, with this job, like the client was, pretty, he wanted the best.
Yeah.
So okay, here we go. It's free. you decide if you want.
Yeah.
You decide if you want to remove it or not. Like I mean, we lost days of work. And I even told him, and he told me like, hey, I think I'm gonna pay you for the ceramic coating. And I was saying like, you know what, keep it. It's free as well, since for the inconvenience. So it's like I was paying him, for his time and stuff like that. So I lost the entire job. But
Yeah.
that's how I like to do it. If they have like something to say, okay, it happens twice. Like I said, on the years that I have of doing this.
Yeah. I think that's probably
But
why you have a 5-star rating.
it's a good, yeah. That's the reason. Because by the way, before I have a client and they left like a 4-star review, and I asked them, like, hey, what happened? looks like you told me, or you, because they left a 4-star review, but they was talking good stuff about us, like
Hmm.
how come, for me, if somebody's talking good stuff about us, it needs to be like a 5-star review.
Hmm.
I don't know what we have to do in order
Yep.
to get that one more star. So I called them, and I tell them, hey, what do you think about the job? Like, oh, it was amazing. I'm super happy. Thank you so much. And then I tell them, yeah, I'm asking because I want to know what I have to do in order to get the other, like, one more star. And he was like, what are you talking about? I say, okay, like, it's only a 4-star review, and I was trying to get a 5-star review. So I want to know exactly what I need to do in order to, do it right for you. So he was like, oh man, I was by accident. So he pressed the wrong, start, excuse me.
That's funny. I have had people that we've had two people leave us a 4-star review,
Oh yeah.
and both of them just told us they don't leave 5-star reviews ever.
Yeah. And I don't know why. Like, if you're happy, you're happy, right?
Yeah. There's always
So
something
I
that
don't
could be better.
understand
I think that's where
what
they
they
were
said.
coming from. They were like, there's always something that could be better. That's where they were
So
coming from.
in that case, what I would say is, what else you want me to do for you?
Yeah. And
I will do it for you.
they couldn't come up with anything when we asked them
No.
that. So
Oh wow, that's. I mean, you can please everybody, Like, I mean, it is what it is. Like, we're gonna get those people sometimes.
yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
the way I see it is like if you just don't
Mhm.
leave a 4-star review if that's the case. I just would prefer you don't leave anything.
Don't leave anything. Like,
Yeah.
please, if if you're watching and you want to leave a 4-star review, I'd rather not have that review.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, but some people think as well, like, when you don't have no bad reviews, people think that it's fake as well,
Sure.
because they
Yeah.
they are like, hey, how come you don't have any negative reviews? But that's what I tell them, because if you don't like what I do for you, it's not about money. We love doing this, and if you don't like it, it's free. And they are like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Like, I mean, we're gonna make sure. Obviously, we're gonna make sure that before they leave, they got to be happy.
Yeah.
Communication. They got to be happy. Like, before we pull out, if it's a mobile job, before we put all of our tools back into the van, we gotta call them and ask them, is anything else I can do for you? Inspect your vehicle, make sure you are 100% satisfied. They inspect it, they say, oh yes, everything looks nice, thank you so much, I'm impressed with the job. And then is when you ask them, can you help my small business? Can you leave a 5-star review for us? And they go like, absolutely. Okay, boom. But if you look like the client, I mean, sometimes the only moment I would say where you can get a maybe like a negative review, like a 3-star or 4-star, is if you didn't have the communication. Let's say, for instance, you went there, you did the detail, and they have to leave, and then when you finish, you just call them, leave the keys or whatever, so they're not going to have the chance to inspect the vehicle. But with that, you still can tell them, hey, we like to make sure that you are in the spot in case we miss anything, so we want to make sure that you're going to be 100% satisfied. But if they tell you, oh, no worries, if you leave something there, that's okay. I mean, or stuff like that, try to communicate with them. Communication is key on
Yeah.
any business. Yeah,
Now I heard you say that you specifically asked them if you could help out our small business and leave a review. So you are asking them that and then sending
always.
them.
I send them the link. I try to not do it like automatically, because if you do that, maybe some people just gonna leave a review, because you know how those apps, they start sending a link, like they gonna send you, hey, I would like to get a review for you from you, and things like that. And then it's gonna be like, it's gonna be insisting, so for that is, for you to be insisting always to get a review, they can say, okay, it's a 3-star, boom, just because you are pushing too much, just to get a review. So I'd rather not have a review if it's gonna be a 3, 4-star. So I just like to personalize, send the link through their text message. through a
Yep.
text message, and that way they're gonna leave a good one.
Yeah, it's funny because everyone's trying to go to like automation, and I'm all
Mhm.
on board with that. But there is no better way to get reviews than to personalize it. And like you want to go
Right.
away from automation, really.
Yeah, like in my end, like have a lot of companies calling me, hey, we would like to do this for you, like automate everything. Like, no, thank you. Like, I'm good. Like, if you don't care much about your reputation and you just want to get a ton, like 1,000 reviews, and don't matter if it's 3, 4, 5 stars, like then it's okay. But if you care about your reputation, in my end, I have my last name. My last name is the name of my company, so um, my business, my reputation is everything. Even I have people saying, "Hey, would you like to franchise your company?" I'm like, "No, thank you. Maybe with a different name, okay, but not with my name."
Sure.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah, but I've even had friends ask me like how do you get 5-star reviews, and or like, oh, they're just sending them an automatic link, and we do that. But I've found the way we've gotten most of our reviews is always to ask personally at the end of the
yeah,
detail.
yeah. Especially after they see the job, you can see their reaction. If it's somebody that likes to express, themselves, like their reaction, like going like, oh my god, this looks amazing, blah blah blah, all that type of stuff, then you ask them, you know for sure that that's going to be a 5-star review.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because there's companies that I see their Google business page, and they haven't had a new 5-star review or a new review at all for like a year, and I know they're doing tons of business.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, what's going on here, guys? And
Yeah.
that's fine. I mean, maybe they're happy with where they are, but we, like you, have gotten most of our business from Google, and we want to
Mhm.
continue to be at the forefront of Google, um,
Got you.
where I
and
feel like we've seen the most success.
and which state you guys have
We're in
your
Missouri.
Missouri? Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Nice. Nice.
Yeah, we only have about 150,000 people in our city. Metro area is probably closer to 400,000.
Okay.
Um, I'm not sure how much is Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond, just Richmond is like 200 and close to 300. And
Okay.
we have like the nearby, areas like Chesterfield's like 300 and some thousand people, almost 400. And yeah, but just Richmond is like 256, I think, something like that.
Okay. All right. So it's pretty comparable
Yeah.
um, size. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, are you trying to grow your company? It sounds to me like you're really just kind of doing what you enjoy doing,
Yeah.
a little bit of everything. But are you trying to grow anything specifically over the next like year or so?
I always have the idea of have like a one stop shop. I do sell a little bit of products for other detailers as I do the trainings. I have some products, the products that we use the most on the stock. But I wanna at some point be able to purchase like a land, where I can build a big shop and have everything in one location. Yeah, and be able to do bigger trainings. Have the products there for people that come and shop, and as well have everything in one place. But I think that's going to be maybe not this 2025, but maybe in 2026, if everything goes well, we might want to do something like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And maybe you'd put the mobile van unit builds under the same roof as the detailing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Are you working out of like your house or like a shop behind your house right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, that's exactly how we got it. So that's another thing that I don't have to stress a lot, about rent because everything is right behind my house. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that gives me the opportunity of still having my employees, even if it's not a lot going on, because I have my employees on two of them, they are salary. So they make money no matter what, they're
Yeah.
gonna have their salary if there is income or not. That's kind of like what I like to give them, for them to feel like, you know, to feel good, Yeah.
Sure.
There's always things to do around the shop, but at least if it's not income, I don't have to say, "Hey, guys, you guys, I'm not gonna don't come to work," So hourly rate, if they don't come to work, they don't make money. But in their case, they're gonna make money no matter what.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because when I hire an employee, I don't think about it like, oh, I'm going to have to pay this person 15 or $20 an hour. I think I'm going to have to pay this person enough to where they can live because if I don't, they're going to leave.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of what I like to do. Have them on salary because, and also obviously they get tips from the clients, and I always tell them if they do upsell something, if they go, let's say for instance, they went to a mobile job and they went over there just to do like an interior and exterior, they can always upsell like a headlight restoration or engine bay detail. If they do that, they're gonna get a commission as well from that upsell,
Mm,
and as well the client they can get like like a discount because we are already on the spot, you know.
mm.
So it's a win-win for everybody.
The client gets a discount and then they get commission.
Yeah, the client can get like let's say 10% off, and my employee can get a percentage as well out of that specific job, the
Yeah.
headlight restoration or the engine bay detail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing I found too is that paying for good quality employees,
Oh yeah.
it's always worth to pay extra, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's always someone, just like with detailing or with any service, there's always someone that will do it cheaper. But that doesn't always mean that that's right. Like it's not always about the money in that
No,
sense.
exactly. I mean, I like to treat the guys that work with me as a family. I like to treat them right, and if you do that, they're gonna treat you right as well. They're gonna look out for your company. They also gonna feel proud of work for a company, and things like that. So I tell them, I treat this company like if it's yours, just like
Yeah.
that, because I wanna make sure that if I'm gonna grow, they need to grow with me. We all want to grow, not just hey, go there and make me some money. No, we need to grow as a company together.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if people want to reach out about training or just have questions for you, where is a good place to contact you?
raldasdetails.com. There is the phone number where somebody is going to answer. Somebody else is going to answer the phone, and they're going to put me on direct contact with them if
Okay.
if they want more or like further information. Yeah.
Cool. All
Hmm.
right. Well, thanks again for coming on. It's kind of answered all my questions for
Thanks
today.
for having me, brother.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
Would love to have you on again sometime.
Sure, definitely. Thank you so
Cool.
much, bro.
All right. Thanks everyone for listening.
All right. Thanks, guys.